especially our presenters, the fifth graders,
Oh, good.
for showing up and showing us everything that you're doing, especially with the Be Well Assembly. I think that was sort of new information or a reintroduction for myself. So up next is our fabulous Dr. Rachel Kelly.
Not an easy act to follow. Thank you, everyone. It's good to see you. This is actually the first council meeting after our winter break. So happy New Year to all of you. I hope the break was relaxing and rejuvenating for all of you. Just want to give some quick updates. Just today, we had our district-wide safety meeting. And some information that was shared there included that we now have the design for the security vestibule. As you know, we have a security vestibule in 2 of the 3 main entrances on Meadow Avenue and at the elementary entrance on Midland. And we now have plans to add one on the Pondfield entrance. So those plans are being reviewed by facilities as well as by our Board of Education, and we'll come up with a plan to fund that. In addition, our outdoor classroom is complete. Yet another example of the beautiful marriage we have between both the BTA and the PTA and the foundation, who are both so generous and allowing us to build our first outdoor classroom. So we're very excited for the spring to come so we can add some landscaping and get some students out there. And we're hoping that will lead to a second one, not too far behind. We had a board meeting just this past Thursday. Some highlights from that included the elementary school students presenting, as well as our middle school students representing what the disposition of leadership means. And the board also approved a teacher retirement incentive. These are always kind of double-edged swords. We only offer it when we feel we need to fiscally. And as we start to plan for the 24-25 budget, we are seeing quite a gap between currently what our expenditures are and where the tax cap is. And we feel very strongly to not override that tax cap, but to present a budget that is at the tax cap. And so offering a teacher retirement incentive will allow us to have quite a bit of savings in next year's budget. And inevitably, we're going to lose some legends. So that's why the deadline is February 1st. So that gives us early notification and we can get out into the market early. So I will keep you posted as to who the retirees will be. And we'll have all spring to celebrate them. The other piece from the board meeting is that we looked at the first draft. We're already looking at, in addition to the budget, the first draft of the calendar for next year. So not many changes actually next year compared to this calendar. The one addition is New York State will now require the Lunar New Year being honored in public schools. So that'll be added, I believe it's the end of January next year. So take a look on the website. It's in draft mode. We're certainly open to your feedback before the next board meeting in February, because that is when the board will act on it. We have a budget workshop coming up this Saturday morning at 9 a.m. And that's when it will start be looking very seriously at next year's budget, looking at the tax levy. We'll also be spending some time looking at our debt service and taking all of those variables into account as we consider next year's budget. The other security piece I wanted to mention that came up at this morning's meeting is that through our operating budget, we're adding an additional 28 cameras in the interior of the building. We already have over 100, So this will enhance our ability to see certain corridors and areas of the building that we don't have a good view of. So shout out to Mike Lee and Dan Carlin and Vic Preeny for really being proactive and staying ahead of security concerns. It's also getting to the deadline of getting your feedback on any of our tenure candidates and certainly any of our probationary faculty. That list goes out every week in the Bronco Beat. We would love to hear your feedback. Thank you to those who have already shared it. And if you don't want to write a letter, you're certainly welcome to give me a call, come in and speak to any one of us. Your perspectives are important to us. So thank you, and it's good to see all of you.
Thank you, Dr. Kelly, for showing up and giving us an update. It's always exciting to hear, construction projects are on cue and ready to go. So at this meeting, the elementary school meeting, it's January, and I always feel like it's a refresh, reintroduce ourselves, and a good way to kind of like reconnect. So that's basically what tonight's meeting is about. Everyone's going to kind of remind us about the initiatives. I found so many things from the foundation and the PTA that I had forgotten about that I was hearing in December. And I was like, our parent body needs to hear this. This is important. This is how the three roads come together and work. I like to say we work as a hug, not a handshake, the PTA, the foundation, and the school. So you will hear that from all our fabulous people. Of course, Miss Adams is here to give us all the good stuff about elementary school.
Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year as well. I can't believe we're ending January at this point. But I'd like to begin this evening with a few updates in the elementary school, starting with the school play, Hercules. Our third, fourth, and fifth grade actors have been working tremendously hard and are gearing up for their performances this Saturday and Sunday. It's incredibly amazing to see how our students have memorized their lines and dance routines in just 2 very short weeks. Tickets are on sale right now, and if you haven't already purchased them, an email was sent out earlier this week with the Eventbrite links. We'll also drop the links in the chat tonight, so we hope that we can see you all there. Thank you, Mr. V. The Athletics Council is pleased to announce that the Harlem Wizards are back this year for the annual basketball game, which will take place on Sunday, March 3rd at 1 p.m. in the main gym. Doors open at noon. A group of Harlem Wizard basketball players put on a hilarious and impressive show that is bound to entertain. Teachers, varsity athletes, community members also take part in the game. It's definitely come out and join the fun. Tickets go on sale Friday, February 2nd on Membership Toolkit, and they sell out quickly. We're also grateful to the foundation for awarding the elementary school a grant for a book vending machine. We plan to incorporate the vending machine in our social emotional learning and B3 positive behavior program. Students who earn Bronco cards during the month will have the opportunity to select a book from the vending machine. The selection of the books will be updated monthly to align with our school's themes. For instance, this month's theme, as you heard from our student council, is perseverance. So during morning announcements, we highlight well-known figures who exemplified perseverance, like Steve Jobs, J.K. Rowling. This morning, Michael Jordan brought up a little bit of some controversy, whether he was arguably the best basketball player ever. And then, so we're really excited to expand book offerings that relate to our monthly themes. I'm very excited to share some great work happening in the first grade. During our project-based learning unit, first graders in Mrs. Westerheim's class utilized design thinking strategies to develop a conflict resolution tool known as the Peace Path. This tool aims to assist students in resolving challenging issues during recess and reaching peaceful resolutions. Students walk the path with their peers, following prompts that include clarifying questions, active listening, and suggestions for overcoming their difficulties. Like the buddy bench, We hope to bring their prototype to life by writing a grant to implement the path on our actual playground on the blacktop. On to some computer-based testing. So this year, 3rd through 5th grade will be taking computerized ELA and math tests. The math state test, the New York State Education Department continues to transition to computer-based testing, also known as CBT, as part of its commitment to both meeting the needs of 21st century learners and improving test delivery, test integrity, scoring validity, and turnaround time and test results. Today, we completed a simulation of the computer-based tests in grades 3 through 5. You will be pleased to know it went without a hitch. No surprise, our students quickly adjusted using the platforms. They were way more savvy than we were. They were showing us things that we didn't even know were capable. As a reminder, the ELA state test will be on April 16th and 17th, and the math state test will be on May 1st and 2nd of this year. Another quick reminder, report cards will be posted on Infinite Campus portal on Friday, February 16th in the afternoon. The report cards can be found on the campus backpack. And then lastly, a note regarding media versus instructional tools in the classroom. I know there's been some questions regarding how's media used versus instructional tools. And I wanted to share the distinction between videos used during transitions and district-approved instructional tools. So teachers often incorporate brain breaks or movement breaks with engaging videos, such as those found on Go Noodle. You can ask your kids about Go Noodle. It's a lot of fun. Or story time online during snack time. These brief transitional tools are used to help students either refocus or kind of just get the sillies out coming back in from recess. It's a nice way for teachers to kind of regroup and get the students back on task. It's also really important not to confuse these with our district-approved instructional tools, which are educational programs designed to personalize instruction, adapt to the needs of each student, and adjust as students progress. It's worth noting that these tools are accessible for all parents to log into your students' accounts. Different grade levels utilize various platforms, such as Dreambox in the lower grades, kindergarten through 2nd grade, and IXL for the upper grades, grades 3 through 5. These platforms serve as enrichment tools and do not replace classroom instruction. So please feel free to inquire with your classroom teacher for any login information so you can take a look at some of the things, the amazing things that your kids are doing on these platforms. So I just want to thank you all, and I do hope to see you all this weekend at the play.
Thank you so much. I remember IXL with my sophomore and now with my twin 4th graders. And if I remember correctly, they can do the problems and then they get harder and harder as they achieve. So it's so great for their problem solving. Okay, thank you for that, Ms. Adams. Okay, Mr. Kelly, you are up. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Mr. Kelly. And I am the school psychologist in the elementary school for grades K through 2. And Ms. Adams invited me here tonight just to introduce myself and give me an opportunity to describe my role at the school a little bit. So I just wanted to start by saying that we're very fortunate to have such a strong social and emotional learning program through CARE. Thanks to Dr. Bistola's amazing work, which provides all of our students with an opportunity to learn some really important skills, related to understanding their emotions and managing their emotions and feeling successful socially, skills that really are as essential in life, I think, as they are in school alone. Sometimes though, our students may need or want some additional social or emotional support. And we're lucky that through our psychology department, we can offer both group and individual counseling at our school for our students, which provides them a space to really practice and develop some confidence with these skills. So, that might look like a kindergarten social skills group where the children are, practicing compromise or, impulse control. That might also look like a one-on-one situation with a student where we're working on helping that student manage more significant or challenging emotions. And I just want to say that, our students are, they're just so insightful and curious. I mean, you heard from them tonight, it was very committed to their growth. And it's just such a privilege to be with them, in any small way as they learn about themselves and their world. So I just wanted to say that. I also want to mention that, typically with supporting students, we try to take a team approach, so I'm often working with and collaborating with parents and teachers and our administration, which is incredibly supportive. And, it's just wonderful to be in a district that really prioritizes our students' social and emotional well-being. Let's see. I want to also just say that we are really lucky to have with us in the psych department 4 highly skilled interns. So these are graduate students at the master's and doctoral level who are completing part of their training with us at Bronxville. And they bring just, a tremendous amount of creativity and passion and dedication to how they support the students too. So all of that is to say that we have a lot of support here to offer. And I just want to encourage, any parents with concerns to be in touch with me. And I don't know, Ms. Adams or Mr. Beglica, if we could maybe share my contact information in the chat. But, please feel free to email me or just reach me directly at the school. I can perhaps just leave my extension if you want in the chat if that works. But thank you for your time, and it's a pleasure to be with all of you.
Thank you so much for showing up. I'm always amazed at all the many offerings beyond academics that our school offers, and obviously the counseling center as well as the play. I mean, these are 2 areas that we are lucky to be here. Next up is Dr. Vastola. Originally, she wasn't going to be on the agenda, and I happened to be at the kindness coffee that, the kindness coffee that Be Well put on, and it was amazing. And she had so many great tidbits and refreshers for myself as a mom. And I was like, you have to come on and tell us again. So here she is.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. It's great to be here. One thing I want to just add on to what Alex was saying is you might be saying, well, okay, if Alex is K2, who takes care of 3-5? So perhaps, Rikia, you can just post Dr. Lewis's information, because we do have, she is assigned to grades 3, 4, and 5. And I collaborate with the both of them very actively. And of course, then in 5th grade, we have our new guidance counselor, Mr. Nelson, who is also available for counseling for students. Is that correct, Rikia? Okay, perfect. Okay, so hi. So I was invited to Be Well coffee, if you will, chaired by Ann Sakula, one of our parents. And I was asked to comment on 2 questions. No, actually, it was 1 question, and I added the second. The first question was, how can we teach kindness at home? And what I did was I had my own thoughts about it, obviously, and I went to some select 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade classes, and I asked them to anonymously answer that question. How can parents teach kindness at home? What works? What doesn't work? And my second question to them was, what gets in the way of you being kind? Because our kids can quote chapter and verse. They can write a dissertation on why it's important to be kind and what is kindness. So we have to discuss with them, well, what gets in the way of that? So I'm going to read. I'm, I never cease to be amazed with what the kids come up with. I'm going to read a couple of responses here. The first one gave me a real chuckle. Give us money each time we do something that they think is good. Fourth grader, you can teach kindness with even the simple things, like telling your kids to say thank you. And a lot of people say, I'm polite and kind by saying thank you. Also, kids have some deeper feelings than you might think. So you have to talk them deeply, but not deeply enough to make them feel awkward. Like when you're trying to teach your kids kindness, please, please, please do not talk about their personal life. What really works for me is when my parents talk about what happened to them and how they handled it. Here's another response. Parents can show any example and maybe say sometimes that you can help somebody who needs help. Another precious one. Parents can model and kids can watch it, and then children can do it. So what came across very strongly from many of your kids is that you model kindness. You model kindness by how you speak to people. How do you speak to people in the community? How do you speak to your significant other? How do you speak to your children? The other thing that came up pretty significantly is they know what gets in the way of being kind. An annoying sibling can really get in the way of being kind. But what resonated the most was what we are teaching in care, which is emotional regulation. What gets in the way? Maybe you're going through something tough. You're having a bad day. Another kid wrote anger, stress, not good sleep. There are a few things that make kids frustrated when you're trying to teach them kindness. Number one, when you yell at us, it makes us more frustrated and it makes us want to be less kind. So I said this at the meeting and it bears repeating. I have yelled at my kids like Sigourney Weaver coming out in the Alien. We all get to those points. And it's really important that we monitor our own emotional regulation when we are upset. Our kids are saying it. I know it from experience. And they will remind you. And not so nicely sometimes. My daughter said to me once, "You call yourself a psychologist?" And I said, "No, right now I'm calling myself a mother." Okay, I'm on a time limit. Here we go. Again, the other thing that gets in the way is when you talk about our personal life and it makes us feel regret. So regret and shame are not necessarily good tools to teach kindness. Finally, the other thing that impacts kindness is obviously peers. And what gets in the way is when a peer is not kind to them. So I'm delighted to continue to work with your emotionally insightful students. We will be sending home, we're working on ways to communicate what we're doing even more effectively, and we're going to put that into place very soon. Thank you.
Thank you. I remember in the meeting, one of the kids said, we really love to hear the parents' experience when they were children and how they did or did not handle it. I thought that was great. And another piece that you do, Dr. Vastola, is you do K through fifth grade, but per grade, you are very specific with what works, for a first grader. Clearly, it's very different than works for a third grader. So thank you for that individual attention. It's wonderful.
welcome.
Okay.
You.
So next up is our other hug. It's the PTA and all that they do, and how they support our fabulous school. Deidre Doheny is the executive chair of all of us.
Thank you. Thank you, Susan, for inviting me to be part of your council call this evening. Yep, my name is Deirdre Doheny, and I am this year's president of the Bronxville PTA. As many of you, I know that many of you are on this call are already members and you're already active volunteers here at the Bronxville School. But I wanted to take a couple of minutes to brag about what we've been able to accomplish this year so far, thanks to your support. Our PTA, as you know, is a very special one. We are very proud of our wonderful working relationship with the faculty and the administration at the school and with the Bronxville School Foundation. This year, we are over 1,195 members strong. We are a 100% volunteer-based organization with over 107 parents actively engaged in lead roles. These run from grade chair to a committee rep. We are a single organization, one PTA that serves all 3 schools. And in these schools, we have school-focused councils. So we have elementary, led by Susan Fraze. We have middle school, led by Wendy Fahey. And we have high school, led by Emily Liggett. Each of these school-focused councils operates a budget focused on programming to enhance the educational experiences that your children have in each school. The ice cream social, the book fair, the lecture series, and the floating schools projects are investments that the PTA continues to make in the elementary school. And beyond the school-focused councils, we have committees that address issues and needs that go beyond a particular school. Be Well, Bold, DEI, Basque, Apparel, Sustainability, Arts, and Athletics are some of the 12 separate committees that enhance our students' experiences across their development. For our parents, we offer social gatherings. We bring in insightful speakers like Jennifer Wallace. We provide opportunities for parents to connect, like the Bold Coffees and Connect and our most recent kindness workshop. We also create volunteer experiences for our children to give back to our community. And I hope you'll be attending the play this weekend. I know it's been discussed. It's one of the highlights of our year. And those Basque volunteers, formerly known as the Drama Mamas, they give a lot of heart and soul to each production, and it always shows. And finally, we need your help. We need your talent, and we need your ideas. If you're not a member already, please consider joining. Your time and your expertise are truly valuable. In the upcoming months, we will be starting our recruiting drive for next year, and we'd really love to have you on board. Always reach out with thoughts, ideas, or concerns. Please follow us on social media and sign up for text messaging to remind you for events just like this one. Thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, there's no doubt how much the PTA gives. And in the agenda, there's links to many of the committees that have been currently doing things. So please click and review what they have to say. There are so many people that are volunteering that when I say that elementary school is a busy and productive place, it really is with all of these parents. Up next is one other great fabulous. Completing our circle is the foundation, and they blow me away with how much they give and talents there. Alana Level, a former elementary school council chair.
Hi, everybody. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes.
Okay, good. Hello. Hi, Susan. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak tonight. We're especially grateful to speak to elementary school families because we know that so many of you have recently moved to town, put your kids into the school, and it can be confusing. I remember that feeling of trying to figure out how different organizations are working to make the school the best it can be. Sorry, I'm just trying to switch my screen and it's not working. Oh, there we go. Good. The foundation was incorporated in 1991 with the mission to enhance educational excellence and fund initiatives that just couldn't be covered by the school's budget. Today, we're one of the oldest and most successful public school foundations in Westchester. Each year, we ask the school community to contribute. By now, you may have heard from us by mail or email. Thank you so much to those of you who have already contributed. Our goal is to achieve participation from 100% of our families with donations of any size. This is going to be interesting, guys. Sometimes it's switching, sometimes it's not. I'm just going to keep going. The foundation funds initiatives in the arts, athletics, health and wellness, and all academic disciplines. We award grants for projects that will improve our equipment and supplies, enhance our facilities, strengthen our curriculum, advance our extracurricular programming, and provide professional development to our administrators and faculty. Foundation grants vary in size and scale. One of our largest recent grants in the elementary school was over 1,000 square feet of STEM learning space. One of the smallest was a $300 grant for mindfulness teddy bears that are currently being used by Dr. Vastola. We're also very happy to support the building of our outdoor classroom, which is opening soon. Dr. Kelly mentioned it. That fundraising effort was a collaboration between the foundation and the PTA. Let me just play with this a little bit, see if I can. No, it's just frozen. Sorry, guys. Well, you'll get a lot from this slide. Each year, through our annual appeal, we raise money from school families, other community members, alumni, and companies. We do a lot of fundraising events. We have a really fun one coming up. It's a winter paddle party. It's called Paddle for Purpose. It's taking place on Thursday, February 29th, and we'd love to see you there. You'll get more information. As to who can apply for a grant, any student, parent, teacher, or administrator can apply. We're currently accepting applications for our 2024 grant cycle. The deadline is March 1st. And after I finish talking, I'm going to put more information on how to apply in the chat. We get questions about how grants are evaluated, how we decide which grants to approve. There's a 30-person board, and they consider a few things. Some of them are the power of the project to transform teaching and learning, the viability of the project's budget and implementation plans, the number of students who would be impacted, among other things. The process lasts most of the school year. In the fall, a committee speaks with leaders across the school to better understand the needs of the coming year. Then from March to May, applications undergo an extensive due diligence process, and we solicit feedback from the administration and the Board of Education. Finally, in May, grants are awarded, and they're typically up and running in 6 to 9 months. This is a good time to tell you that the foundation is accepting nominations to fill several open positions on its board. We'd love for you to apply or propose someone else. Sometimes that's easier. We need parents just like you to come on board and consider grant applications and do lots of other interesting work to support the foundation. I get to sit on the board just this year as a PTA rep, and I can tell you, they're just a lovely, impressive group. It's always a nice way to spend an evening. To wrap up, remember that, you could have the next big idea. Submit a grant proposal. It's worth it. The deadline is March 1st, and our community drive is ongoing. It's the critical source of funding that makes grants possible, and no gift is too small. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alana. In the chat, Emily Stone is asking, how does one nominate somebody? Is there a link? Oh, there's a link. I do know that. If you look in
there's
my
a link.
agenda.
There's a link, and I'm going to put it in the chat right now.
Okay. And on the
so
agenda,
eager.
there is a link for donating to the foundation as well as nominating to the foundation. So I think
Yeah,
I sent
I'm
this
gonna put it all in
agenda
the
out.
chat right now. Thanks,
Great.
Susan.
You're welcome. Anthony, I don't know how to bring it back to normal.
I'm working on it. I'll get it.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to keep moving. So we love to stay under an hour, and I'm just going to kind of highlight the committees. If you go to the agenda and want more information or meatier piece, you can just click on each of those links and read all about it, so to speak. Well, Be Well was really on fire this year. Again, another, they have brought so many wonderful speakers. So January 10th, they co-hosted a book discussion with Bold, The Gift of Failure, with Jessica Leahy. Last week, you heard me speak about the Kindness Coffee, and I promise all the cool kids were there. It is very obvious the school is saying show up. I recognize that. Every administrator and principal was there, and it was really amazing to see the staff really lean in with parents. So I encourage everyone to come to these coffees and to these discussions because it is K through 12. And April 9th, they have Dr. Eliza Pressman speaking. If you know that podcast, Raising Good Humans, please sign up. She has a book out called 5 Principles of Parenting. And they're also planning a coffee for study habits in the spring for middle school and high school. Bold last week, again, all the superintendents and special educators and support services staff were there, many parents as well. Again, the school is really showing up. So please, parents, come and really get to know the people that are educating your children. That was last Friday. I was lucky enough to go. And again, it was so nice to speak to everyone. Thank you, Bold, for doing that. That is Tara Hart and Ann Jinks. For Be Well, it's Elizabeth Rangwala and Annabella Davis, who worked so hard. Just wanted to mention the 2 co-chairs. And they will be hosting, Bold will be hosting their second book discussion, The Gift of Failure. We just talked about with Jessica Leahy. They did that in conjunction with Be Well. They said be on the lookout for the next book discussion, which will take place on March 7th. The Power of Showing Up by Dr. Daniel Siegel and Dr. Tina Bryson. So that is March 7th. The book fair, Amy Savali and Amy Howard co-chair that with another fabulous group of people. Their committee is Maureen Stapleton, Kate Carey, Christy Berry, Liz Golenberg, Liz Fitzgerald. And in her final year, they want to say a special thanks to Christine Tormey. So thank you. They worked very hard. They had over 50 parent volunteers throughout the week. They started on a Tuesday, ended on a Monday. And if you remember, they had some early morning book buying, and they raised over $1,400 more than they did last year. And each teacher classroom was gifted over $100 worth of books for their classroom. So that's like over what, Ricky, 30-something classes plus special educators. So it really is. It's amazing what our parents have been giving, and we really appreciate that from the PTA. Character and community, you heard. It's another great way for our children to express their kindness. I know they have an outing coming up at the Gramerton Center, and you can read about many more opportunities they have coming up, and that is Olivia and Kristen. Thank you, ladies. They work really hard to be creative and always ask for input. The Memorial Day Committee, which is Maureen Stapleton and Lindsay Lavornia, they just want you to be aware that in April and probably March, they're going to be reaching out to the elementary school community for help. It really takes, ample hands to help, and that will be May 20th through 25th. Then the play. Oh my goodness, we're in the middle of it. I think I giggled all night Monday when I volunteered. There is big energy, and I was in the wings trying to get children to not touch the props. I am the worst volunteer, I discovered, for that job because all I could do was laugh. I had such joy, honestly, coming out of that. So I would say please volunteer if you're a parent of a child in the play. I'm amazed at what they accomplish in 2 weeks. I really want to say thank you to Mr. Vaglica, to Emma Sheehan, our second grade teacher, who has taken this on as a teacher sponsor. It is a PTA committee that is under Basque, and Miss Leisha is the production master behind everything, Alana Level, and the parent production team, Annabella Davis, Alexa Gold, Gina Lander, and Linda Pagano. If you did not have these people, you would not have the play. I promise you, it is very hard to find amazing people, and they really are the ones that keep that motto going on. The show must go on. They are phenomenal. And the skating club is still moving and grooving. And thank you to Ashley Walker Green, who heads that up. And we have Kaylin Strickland, Christine Mowdy, and Amy Savali of the Sustainability Committee. They just wanted you to know that they collected holiday lights and Legos at the end of the December. And they will continue to look for ways to recycle, repurpose, and upcycle this following year. And they are planning for a big April month, which is Earth Month. And then the yearbook. The yearbook committee really wants to know, Julia Hull and Catherine Westerheim, that fifth graders need to get their kindergarten pictures in. You can email Mrs. Westerheim, and that they will go on sale in early February, and you may order through April, and they will be delivered during field day, which will be a week in June. Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you for showing up here. I hope that you'll show up and volunteer for the PTA and help us keep this machine moving. It's really heartwarming, and I really encourage everyone to lean in, even if it's just the 2 little silly hours that I gave on Monday night to the play. I promise you, you will leave a happier person in any place that you help. So thank you. And thank you to our fabulous school administrators, teachers, counselors, keeping ourselves humble and kind. I appreciate it. See you in April.